Warning, this podcast contains Cleo.
And spoilers.
Oh yeah. There are spoilers too. But mainly Cleo. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for the originals, the season 2, episode 22 finale, Ashes to Ashes. I'm your host, Dom. With me, the one, the only, Miss Cleo.
Hello.
Well, actually, you're not the only Miss Cleo.
She's not that Miss Cleo.
Yeah, no. Well, I guess there are two Miss Cleos. So.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
Our names just spelled differently.
Before I get to the other two that you guys already know, Cleo has never watched the originals outside of this one episode.
This is the only episode I've ever seen of the originals.
So this is going to be an even more fun show than usual. But down below is the lovely Omikins.
Hi.
And the way too happy Mike.
I'm surrounded by beautiful women. I'm happy.
Dom, that means you're a beautiful woman.
No, see, I don't count diagonal.
You
above,
have count diagonal.
Then fuck it. I'm not surrounded by beautiful women. I'm less happy.
We're kitty corner to each other.
I'm dour now.
Kitty corner.
Meow.
So, before I ask the rest of you down there, Cleo,
Yes.
what did you think of this show?
I really liked it.
Is this
It was nice.
Is this going to be a show that you may consider continuing to watch?
Maybe.
If you do you plan on catching back up or just starting here?
I don't know.
I know season 1's on Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
Then if it is, then I'm bored this summer, which I'm not sure I will be. But then yeah, maybe.
Interesting.
You
I
know,
liked
the backgrounds.
I liked watching it because this is the testament to the writers because I knew the characters. Like, as soon as they walked on screen, I'm like, yeah, you're this kind of person. Yeah, you're this kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't feel lost.
That's good. And I'm really curious because I never actually have got to ask this question to anybody, but for somebody who's never seen a show like this before, that opening montage that they have that like recaps how they got to this point, how did that work for you? Did that explain everything you needed to know, or did you walk away with questions of like, where are we still? Like, I know you had to be like, I'm still a little, but by the end of it, you were like, okay, I get this now.
It didn't. I honestly don't know. Because, like, yeah, it didn't say everything that was happening, but as things were happening, I wasn't lost.
So basically those opening little montages that we as viewers that watch and remember things on a weekly basis hate watching.
Yeah, I actually almost skipped it, but then I was like, wait, I've never seen the show before. I have to watch it.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Me personally, I can't stand those things. Like, Nikki's shaking her head like, no, I like them. I
didn't
don't
say I like them, but I don't dislike them either. I'm the kind of person that can sit there and watch a show with commercials and not really give a shit. Because I can tune them out, and when the show comes back on, I'm back watching. I'm focused again.
Well, in the commercial, it's just the intro. It's the
just
first, like, 45 seconds of the episode. So.
That's how I feel about it. Like, if I want to tune it out, I can.
Yeah. Okay, so, before we get into the plot, Cleo, favorite character?
Either Marcel or Klaus.
Ooh, good choices. Good choices.
Yeah.
I was actually expecting you to like Rebecca quite a lot.
I did like Rebecca.
And you know what? I have a feeling that if you watch the, season 1 and 2 and possibly even, the seasons of the Vampire Diaries with the originals in it, you might actually like Elijah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elijah.
This episode was not a very good Elijah showcase.
Yes, it was not a good representation of Elijah. Elijah is usually the like very patient, calm, and collected one. And there's just a lot happened to him this season. So.
Right. And the running joke with me is that he has vaults of suits spread out all over the world. So if his suit gets fucked up, he can be right as rain in less than 5 minutes.
That's awesome. I like that.
Because he's always in a fancy suit.
Yeah. Okay, so for the rest of you, what did you guys think of the episode?
See,
It wasn't a perfect finale, but I like it.
I preferred last episode over this one.
Last episode was a really good episode. I really, really liked this episode too. I think the thing I'm the most disappointed about was Cole not being in it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, like, every article I read, they're like, oh yeah, Nathaniel's coming back, we get to see Cole, and then no Cole.
Yeah. So I was
I
really
was so
disappointed
angry.
about that. I actually watched this episode twice. The first time through, I really disliked the ending. But the second time that I watched it, I felt a lot better about it. And so the ending with Klaus, we're going to memento this, but the ending with Klaus, just like sitting there reading like this story to Hope. And it's just like, you know, we've made some new enemies, you know, things they don't always end on a happy ending. And, you know, but the story goes on or whatever. It's like there's always another chapter or something like that. At first I was just like, that's it? Where's like Davina like going psycho, and I need like something to latch onto to get me excited for next season. But then I was like, you know what? This ending is just them being so confident and cocky that we're just like, we're too good for that. We don't need that. You're gonna watch it anyway. And I actually respected it more.
Didn't they end the first season on Haley reading out her letter to Hope?
No.
Then they started this season off with that.
Yes.
So maybe they were kind of trying to parallel?
It could be, yeah. Clear.
Oh, like bookends. Here's my first noob question. Who's Hope's parents? Who are the parents?
Klaus.
Okay.
Klaus is the father,
Yeah. Okay.
and the girl that was naked in the woods at the end is the mother.
Okay. Noob question number 2. How do werewolves work?
Okay. Werewolves work exactly like you think. Full moon. Okay, they're born with curse. They never transform until they kill somebody.
Okay.
Then the curse takes hold. They transform every full moon. The crescent curse they're talking about is something Marcel devised. It's a reverse. They're only human on the full moon.
Marcel devised it?
It was...
He came up with it, but he got witches to...
He came up with it.
Why?
It was pre-last season because there was...
used to be in charge of New Orleans
Mm-hmm.
before the
He wants to be
Mikealsons
charged
came
again?
back. It was before the Mikealsons came back.
Yeah.
But yes,
Right.
yeah, ultimately he does.
And the problem is that vampires, as strong as they are, a werewolf bite is poisonous and lethal to a vampire.
However, Klaus's blood is the cure to vampires' werewolf bites.
Mm-hmm.
Because Klaus is both a werewolf and a vampire. He's a hybrid.
How do you do that?
He
was
was-
born that way.
He's
Well,
born
no,
that-
He
Wait.
was...
he was
okay,
born a
so-
werewolf.
Can I start
So-
singing Lady Gaga?
You can. No, see, Klaus's mother cheated Esther, which you met in this episode. She cheated on her husband Michael and had Klaus. So Klaus is born out of wedlock, whatever,
Bastard child.
bastard child of a werewolf family. So he had the werewolf gene in him. And then when he died, or he killed somebody, whatever, but then when she turned them all into vampires, since he was already a werewolf, he was fused with the power of both.
Other way around. He was transformed into a vampire, and then he killed somebody his first feeding, and that triggered the werewolf curse, which was never triggered before.
Got it.
Basically, Esther invented vampires.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this whole show, The Originals, is about the original family.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was explained properly. They did mention it, but I don't know, like, if you caught it. If one of them dies, their entire bloodline, every single person they've ever turned, dies with them.
No, I actually caught all that because
Right.
I think Marcel said it like 2 or
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Because he would have died.
And that's the thing. That's why you know Klaus is never in any danger at the moment, because if he dies, so does
Every single character on the Vampire
Half the
Diaries.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah, because Stefan, Damon, Caroline, not Elena anymore, but they would all die instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But so where do we really even start here? I guess Davina.
That's gonna be one pissed off witch.
Davina got played really bad by something
Yeah.
Klaus typically would do. Elijah, as much as he's hated Klaus these last couple episodes, he even said it, he's pulling a page right out of Klaus's playbook and did the swap on Davina to bring their mother back. And I was just like, I knew as soon as Rebecca like turned around and walked out and was leading her out, I go, this is what they're doing. Don't do this. No, I want Nathaniel. Where's Cole? Where's Cole? That's all that was
Is
going
Cole
through my head.
like the brother everybody loves?
No.
No,
just
Cole's
no.
an
He only-
asshole.
Cole's an asshole?
Yeah.
Dom loves him because he's an asshole.
Oh, okay.
Cole's a bigger asshole than Klaus.
Wow.
He's not.
He's
He's
not,
more
though.
mischievous.
Yes, he's very mischievous. That's the best way to describe him. He's just a lot of fun. He just
Right.
likes to fuck with things for the fun of it.
Basically,
He's not an asshole like Klaus is, because Klaus is an asshole because he's paranoid.
Mhm.
Cole is just an asshole to have fun.
yeah, you got 4 out of the 6 children. The 2 you missed. Cole was a mischievous asshole, and Finn was a mama's boy.
Ew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So glad he's
Is Finn
gone.
dead? Or is...
Yes, Finn is dead.
The guy who was drinking with Cammy when she was watching the baby,
Vincent?
Yeah.
Vincent, he was possessed by Finn for most of this season. Finn's soul is currently in that lovely blue gem around Freya's neck.
Yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Long
Yeah.
story there.
Yeah, so the original family is all over the place. The father's dead, the mother's dead, the mother died 4 times, I think, now.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's just... I love that moment when Klaus, like, walked in and he's like, I'm just in time to witness another one of your deaths.
Yeah.
It's just like that little campy, cocky attitude. I just love it.
I'm really glad that I watched this episode first, because with no context, I love Klaus. Like,
Yeah.
maybe if I started watching from the beginning, I might not love him.
No,
like I
if
do
you
right
started
now.
watching the originals from the beginning, you would still feel the same way about Klaus.
Okay,
Right.
cool.
However,
Klaus-
if you started Vampire Diaries,
Diaries.
in like the finale of season 2, which is when Klaus was technically introduced, it just wasn't in his body. He's doing body jumping the same way as he
Yeah.
did. Then you probably would not have liked Klaus. But then all through season 3 and season 4, and then 5 was when the originals came out. So,
Yeah.
you know, they've been around for a while now. So to get their whole story, I'd say just watch the originals. You don't need to watch the Vampire Diaries, but you still learn a lot of the lore, like about the woke steak, for example. Like, that's the only weapon that could kill an original vampire, and it
Yeah.
is the last one in existence. And then that's what we saw in this episode, is when Dahlia shattered it and started having them inhale the
Yeah.
ashes of it, you know. So
So is Freya not a vampire?
No, she's
Dahlia, right. She took Freya as part of that bargain, firstborn, whatever. She took Freya when she was 5 years old, before half of them were even born.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna apologize to anyone who's already a fan of the originals that we were like rehashing all the basic bitch stuff.
no, it's fine. I think
fine.
it's actually would be interesting for people to see what a newcomer would think of the show that's never seen it before. I at least I find it interesting. So
And it's nice to be reminded of some of the things that happened in the last couple
'cause
seasons.
a lot went down this season,
Yeah.
more so than the first season. This season was
basically-
just jam packed.
to go rehash it, you can get everything you need about the characters from the originals. But if you want to see all of them as the villains, go watch Vampire Diaries seasons 2 through 4.
Yeah, because they're not villains in the show.
They were the villains then, all of them. You know, Rebecca included. So
Yeah. Out of you had very little time, Cleo, with the second Rebecca, the witch Rebecca.
Yeah.
But which one do you think you would actually like more?
The witch.
That's the one that pegged you for too.
Yeah.
I like her too.
She's great, and I was actually reading an interview with Claire Holt, who said that she jokes around on set. She hates how good she is at playing herself, because she would like to come back to the show, and at the same time she doesn't want to like take it away from this girl who's made it, you know, such a great character, entertaining character again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Claire, she left for personal reasons, and she came back and left again. And she comes in and out of the show. She's actually on a completely other show right now. I forget what it's called. And they said that they want to bring her back into the show at some point. So it's basically scheduling at this point. So I'd say we're probably just going to... I know there's an arc next season they were going to get that's dealing with a lot of Rebecca flashbacks that they're going to film like all in one shot kind of thing, like over the course of like 2 or 3 days. So they'll break it up and they're going to tell that story over the next season. So we'll definitely be seeing more of Claire next season. So I'm excited for that. But as for Davina, after what was pulled on her and everything, I think Davina's going to end up being the big bad for next season.
She's pissed. She has
She has
9 covens of witches at her disposal.
at her disposal, yeah, but she'd used her big power spell.
She basically had one access to the unlimited power of her ancestors to do whatever the fuck she wanted, and that's done. That's blown. And I don't think they're gonna be like, bitch, you cast a spell. We don't care if it didn't go as you planned. But she still has 9 covens of extremely talented witches under her control. Not to mention that she is an extremely talented witch in and of herself.
Yeah, and then it really kind of came to light, too, when Cammy and Vincent were sitting at the bar having the discussion, and they're talking, and how Vincent wants to, like, his family, he comes from a very powerful family of witches, and he's basically, pawning off all the responsibility onto Davina, and I feel like we're going to see that next season. We're going to see him wrestling with that decision that he's made. And I'm really glad that he's going to stick around for next season, because I actually really enjoy him.
I enjoy Vincent very much. I love the actor.
Yeah.
I love the actor.
I like what we got from him this episode.
Mm-hmm. I like the actor and I like character. Like, he's played 2 characters now, Finn and Vincent.
Did not like him as Finn.
Did not like him as Finn either. I never liked Finn, even in Vampire Diaries.
Finn. It was all Finn.
Yeah.
Vincent, great character.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we learn why Cammy's, sticking around. It's not just because this is where she grew up and this is her family legacy, but it's because she finally admits her feelings for Klaus.
And she's like standing there, like, she's not saying it, but her face, her entire body is screaming, "Kiss me, asshole."
Well, his was too.
I know. That's why he had to walk out at the end. He's like, "I'm gonna do something stupid."
And he's just standing there like, shit, I forgot. It's like, I left the oven on and the coffee pot's gonna burn the house down.
But see, the thing that I found the most interesting was when Klaus was talking to her and they're having the conversation. He goes, if we didn't meet in the bar and gave you the $100 bill, we would have met on such and such street painting a picture or listening to jazz. And the funny thing is, all these things have happened. We've seen them all. In the backdoor pilot for the originals, we saw him painting, was it the painting or the jazz? One of them we saw in the backdoor pilot, and then the other we saw in the very first episode of the originals. It was basically the same episode. Couple scenes were different here and there, and that was one of them. Was the way he met Cammy was completely different, and I remember that was like something that bothered me, because I was like, they changed it, and it's like, so now we're finding out he's been compelling her, He's
painting with blood.
Right.
And that was the joke, because we were like, he's doing a period painting with blood, and then everyone's like,
no, there was a different one where he was just he was next to a fountain out on the streets. It wasn't when he was in the compound. I remember the one you're talking about, Nikki.
I can't get period painting out of my head.
Yeah, no. We couldn't either at the time, but no, that was a different one, Nikki. That was a different one.
No,
a time ago.
She gets
I understand
it. She gets the pun.
I can't.
She understands what a period piece is.
I know. Yes.
Yeah, no, but it was in the 2 pilot, the backdoor pilot and the opening pilot, that he met Cammy 2 completely different ways, and then he compelled her at the end of the pilot or something like that, and then met her for a 3rd time, and that was the bar one. So I just love that scene, because it was just like, he's almost confessing to Cammy, we've met many times before, without actually saying it. And I think she knew what was up, so she knows that the vampires can compel people, so I think she knew what was up. It was just, I don't know, that scene was actually, I think, my favorite scene of the episode, which really weird because it was just like,
It was compelling.
yeah, it's great. I don't know. It reminds me of like Jaws when you're watching Jaws and there's that like when you think of Jaws and you think of just the shark, and this was actually on J.J. Abrams when he was talking at TED. There was a scene in Jaws where it's just like the father sitting down at the table and the kid is just like copying all the movements the father's making, and it's just like this really weird scene that you wouldn't expect in Jaws, and is actually really like this great compelling scene. And that to me, that Cammy scene with Klaus is what that was for this episode to me. So it was really good. I liked it. But I'm kind of upset that Dahlia is gone.
Yeah. They've been... Okay, I'm not upset that she's gone fully, but like upset that she's gone so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they've been, she's been like the looming dark cloud for how long? And then what? She was introduced 3-4 episodes ago?
Yeah.
We finally got Dahlia, and I mean, Dahlia kind of got a happy ending of her own there.
She did it, yeah, in a little way. It was just like, because 2 episodes ago they started toying with us of maybe Dahlia's not the bad villain here, and they flipped the script on us. Maybe she's a good guy. And I was hoping that was the case, and this whole time that they were leading us to believe that Dahlia is the villain when she's really not, and it's actually Freya. That's what I wanted.
Well, think about it, because with the exception of Finn, all of the original children hate Esther and hate their mother.
Right.
They all despise their mother. Esther was the villain, for how long? Through 2 shows now.
This is where...
And then Dahlia comes in and says, this is all because of my sister. We were to be together forever and always. And then,
Always and forever.
I mean, just a little background, because Cleo here, too. They're the sole survivors of a Viking raid on their village, and then Esther marries one of the Vikings that slaughtered their people. Like...
Betrayed her. Left her
Betrayed
alone.
her, exactly. Yeah. So all of a sudden it's like, wow, so it really was all Esther the whole time. She's just a stupid bitch. And Dahlia planted that seed of doubt in the audience's mind, and it was beautifully executed.
It was.
This is a show about villains that are humanized so much. Like Klaus is a villain, Elijah is a villain, Rebecca's a villain, Marcella's a villain, but we all get to see their good side and why their actions are justified by themselves.
Which is really funny. Nikki, because you just mentioned all those villains, and that makes Davina kind of a hero in a way, but she's more villainized than anything,
She's in the same boat. That's basically what this show is. It's just built on
she's fighting back. She's fighting back against them. If they're the villains, that would make her the hero.
I feel like if
But then Klaus fighting Dahlia would make Klaus the hero, but he's still a villain.
See, I feel if this was a D&D campaign that we're loving all of the, evil
Everybody's
characters.
Chaotic neutral.
No, we're loving the lawful evil and the neutral evil characters, and Davine is like the neutral good character,
right?
But it's being portrayed as
right. That's exactly what it is.
She's not gonna be neutral very much longer.
Oh no, not anymore.
No.
She's already past that.
Right.
Already.
So.
Oh, you think about it. As far as the audience is concerned, Davina started out as a villain,
right?
Yeah.
In season 1.
She did. I mean, that's why I said they just plopped all the villains together, and they all have their own points of justifying their actions. And it might look like a villainous thing to another character, kind of thing. It's ping-ponged all over the place.
Yeah. It's just, it's really interesting. And, I know we gripe on another show, Supernatural, about the relationship that the brothers have had for the last couple of years and stuff, and how they're always back and forth. But Marcel summed up really well with the Mikealsons here. It's like, the Mikealsons are a walking paradox. They all hate each other and want to murder each other, but at the same time, they all love each other.
And back each other up. Yeah.
So
you can always count on a Mikealson to back another Mikealson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly.
They're not monsters.
So it's just crazy because you expect them to fight, to the point where it's just like, okay, whoop-de-doo, they're fighting again. But then at the same time, they go and, like, switch up, and you're like, I was not expecting that one, you know? Like, Freya, at the end, when she gave Rebecca the choice to be a vampire or a witch, I did not expect that out of Freya.
Why not?
Why not?
Because
Why
the last 2 episodes have been painting Freya as, like, an
The
evil
villain.
bitch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this was cleared up pretty damn quickly when Dahlia decided to knock her out.
True.
I mean, she was like, "You're not the witch that broke my heart." And the only reason why Freya was so confident, seeming like she was the bad guy, was because she thought she was the one who could kill Dahlia.
Mm-hmm.
Wee bit full of herself.
Yeah.
Leave it.
Basically, she was full of herself.
Got taken down a peg. And, you know,
And, like, Rebecca was the first one who gave her, you know, like a little bit of family charm, you know? Like, gave her a chance to be the sister.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that probably stood out very, very much so with Freya, because, like she said, she's been alone forever because Dahlia took her away.
mm-hmm.
Right. Also, as for the wolves, I think I was pretty spot on last week with my prediction. What the entire reason that they were recursed was because they had no place for them in the finale. They had no, like, compelling way to interject them into all this drama, so they just pushed them off to the side. And it was done in such a way which makes it great for, like, what's going to happen with them in the next season. Because it wasn't like this rushed, let's resolve this in the finale kind of thing. This is, you know, the product of everything this season has been building up to. They're now cursed again. They have to deal with that. You know, Elijah's frustrated because, you know, Haley's there. Rebecca's frustrated because, you know, the mother of her brother's child is now stuck as a wolf and can't look after her own kid.
And Rebecca's also frustrated because she has to now go hunting for another way to get Cole back.
Yep,
I
and
think
then
that's frustrating her.
at the same time, they're dealing with the Elijah-sized hole in the room. You know,
And Elijah's back in the end, but only
Yeah.
because, you know, Haley made him promise.
right?
So
Which,
Klaus is
Cleo,
probably...
just for you, because this is where it gets interesting. Klaus and Haley made hope.
Yeah.
Klaus does not love Haley.
Yeah.
Elijah does.
Yeah,
But
I
Haley-
got that at the
Haley
ending.
married a werewolf, the alpha werewolf of the clan, to turn the entire clan into hybrid wolves. So they're all basically what Klaus is, except not immortal.
They're not... Yeah, they have
They're not originals.
the ability to control, you know, their wolf side and shift at will.
Right.
And they gain access to all its strength while they're in their human form, but they don't have the vampire. Like, they don't need to drink blood. They don't have the, you know, hyper speed of a vampire and shit like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end when they're burning the corpses, that was Gia's corpse. Her already charred corpse from last episode. And Elijah picked up her violin, you know, and walked off with that. So I thought it was kind of touching that he's still gonna, like, carry on and remember her, even though I didn't really care for her. She just seemed very obscure to me.
I'm expecting Elijah to have a Hulk moment and just snap.
Yeah, well,
He's
Coming up
going to.
soon.
He's only there because Haley asked him to, so he's putting on a front for his brother. So is Klaus and Elijah ever gonna repair their bond and be able to get back to where they were, or is this just gonna be a fake relationship? Now?
If Elijah can get a whole, like, control of that red door that Klaus was talking about, then they can mend some fences. But as long as that's opening and swinging around, he's not. He's unstable. He's not like he was in season 1, where he was calm, collected, and, you know, calculated. Now he can fly off the handle.
Yeah, and I'm already imagining what's going through Cleo's head when she was watching the episode and they mentioned the red door. She's probably like, "Oh, that's just a metaphor." Now she's finding out it's an actual thing, and she's even more confused than she was.
No, I didn't even remember them saying anything about the red door.
It's like it's a metaphor for Elijah's self-control.
Yeah.
Except
when
it's real though. It's a
When
real
he-
metaphor.
Right, when he snaps, he goes off the deep end, basically. Like, we're talking, oh, look, there's a small village. I'm going to eat every one of them.
And then I'm going to go change my suit after because I have to be nice and tidy.
I'm going to go eat this whole village, change into a clean suit, go to the next small village and eat all of them, find suit vault number 369, change into another suit, and then go, rampaging throughout the English countryside.
Yeah.
He's very obsessive, compulsive, and he's kind of a neat freak.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, the storyline ended with, not Freya. Well, I guess Freya and Dahlia. So that's pretty much done. Freya's got her freedom now, so get to explore a little more in depth her, which will be good. I think next season we'll deal with her struggles, probably adapting back into society, which could be interesting because I know many shows that do things like that where take somebody who's been away, they get teleported 100 years into the future or something, and all of a sudden new technology, it's crazy to them, and they just did this on Vampire Diaries.
No,
they
see,
just,
Dom, that's where you're wrong, isn't it? Once
every 100 years.
She lives for 1 year out of every 100. So she's time jumped 10 times now.
Right.
She's used to adapting. I mean, mind you, technology didn't advance that crazy between 1000 and 1100 and 1100 and 1300 and all that shit like that.
It's only been recently that technology's been a little crazy.
She's gotten used to adapting. She has noticed that technology's advancing faster each century I'm asleep.
Yeah, I mean, also from 17 to 18, I'm pretty sure was the first real drastic.
Yeah.
And then she, 18 and 19, she's like, well, this trend is keeping up. Well, I'll probably wake up on Mars.
Yeah, no, they just didn't really get to explore, because she's been on the run too, like, this season, and she just woke up this season too, don't forget, like, when we saw her, and she's been dealing with Dahlia, like, immediately, and the brothers and sisters, and reuniting with her family and everything, like, immediately. So, we haven't really seen her interact with very much technology, so I would like to see some of that next season. Like we mentioned earlier, the Vincent storyline, I really want to see where that goes. Dahlia, we already know, is pretty much going to be probably not the big bad, but she's going to start off that way, and something that she's going to do is going to create or cause the season's big bad. Yeah. Marcel is openly, hey Klaus, we got to hash our shit out if, we live through this. Marcel wants New Orleans back, so he's got to deal with that. He's got to deal with his relationship with Rebecca. So there's a lot going on there, and then
a real lot.
Yeah,
and then the wolves.
Yeah.
Well, one thing
when Klaus is sitting there telling this story, and you're just like, oh, this is kind of a happy little ending here. You kind of forget in that little minute that all these loose ends are still going on. And then by not having the typical twist at the very end in the last 10 seconds, you're just like, that's it? So, like I said, I was a little let down at first, but second viewing, I actually enjoyed it a lot more. So.
What was the twist in the end of season 1? Haley waking up?
No, that was Esther and Finn.
It was Esther
right, Esther and Finn. That was the twist.
Yeah, that was the very last scene, was them walking, and it just pans down to Esther's grave, and...
Right. That was I was going to say before, one thing we can be sure of, well, almost sure of, is no more Esther, Michael, or Dahlia.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if Esther or Dahlia got brought back, they'd be like, put me back, bitches.
They've killed Esther 4 times and Michael twice.
I think Esther actually finally got a redeeming death this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's reunited with her sister.
And not only that, but she helped out her family. Mm-hmm. She fought for them. This whole time she's like, well, I'm not going to go in there and help, and you guys are just going to kill me? No, I'm not going to. And then all of a sudden you see her go in, she's got the chain around Dahlia's neck, Elijah now, So she actually set up for her family this time instead of fighting against them.
She saw that they loved each other enough to fight for each other, and that's everything she should have done from the very beginning with Dahlia.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, she even said it. She's like, I should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have Winter Winters in chat who he goes, No compelling way. LOL. Nice pun, Dom. Or nice pun, Domit. He said that's my name now. Dom it all. No, but I believe Winters, because I know he's been tuning in for this podcast, but I know he doesn't watch the originals. I think he actually watched it this episode, because he said in the or maybe he did watch it. I don't know. He said, I originally did not care for this show. Now I do, which is another great pun.
Originally.
Yes. So.
So
and he said, Cleo, we will pop our original cherries together. So I believe that this.
My favorite Claire Holt is the Brett Favre of the originals.
Pretty much.
Ah, nice. Well played.
I don't know. I'm actually really excited for next season, even though we kind of had this little peaceful ending. But now, just talking about it even more, it's just like, I didn't realize all these loose ends that we still had.
I mean, I don't think that was a peaceful ending. He was telling the story, and he was like, we have all these enemies, and they're there.
Yeah. Right, but when I say a peaceful ending, I mean based off of every episode the show has ever had ever. That is a peaceful ending. I know this is your first one to go off of, but you go back and just pick out any random episode and just watch the last 10 seconds, and you'll be like, okay. That is not a peaceful ending. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice and quiet ending.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole part with Dahlia and Esther, that was probably the biggest part for me, but the rest of it, it was just slow in comparison to most of the other episodes that we've watched.
Yeah.
It did tie some ends, and it did leave some doors open, but the ending actually kind of works, because I think they're really going to get into the dirty, bloody mess next season.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to know where the show is going to take Hope, because we've got the description that the firstborn witch of, a generation is ridiculously powerful in that family. She also happens to be a werewolf and also happens to be a vampire.
Yeah, she's all of the things.
They have pretty much, this universe's super being in infant form here.
Yeah, because it also has the unstable magic, which Freya also has, because she was a firstborn Mikealson. Yeah. And they have that in common, so Freya is actually probably the best equipped to train and teach Hope.
Right.
I'm thinking, because we were thinking about how the Vampire Diaries is going to handle the next season. Are they going to time jump a couple years? So if the Vampire Diaries time jumps, are they going to time jump in the originals so that Hope's a little bit older?
I guess that it really all depends on the way that Vampire Diaries ends. Yeah. If it is going to end with the flash forward, like they said that, originally they said, we were going to have. If they do that, it would seem logical that the originals might get a time jump. But then at the same time, you have Marcel going, can we just hold the war by one day? One day. So I also kind of feel like there might not be a time jump, because I can't see like a year going by and Davina having done nothing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's either going to be there's a time jump and we're dealing with the aftermath of Davina like destroying the city or something. But I feel like that's too good to not witness, that we'd have to see it. So.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, so Cleo, I know I asked at the beginning, but let's put a number on this. What's your percentage chance of watching next season?
Pretty high.
Wow. Well, that's impressive. So. I know how Cleo
pretty
likes.
High percent. That's the actual number.
Yeah, I know Cleo likes her supernatural type shows, and this one's got a great mythology in its own, and supposedly from little hints at rumors, we're gonna get some brand new mythology in the next season.
Yes.
So
that's what Davina's bringing up. She's gonna be like, all like, I'm corrupting dark magic stuff, and the demons are gonna pop out of the ground.
So
she's gonna try to resurrect Cole by any means.
Yeah, so if we get demons, that'll be brand new to this universe. If we get, I want to say zombies, but I feel like we already kind of had them to a degree, but not really.
Demons.
So, I don't know.
They've already hinted at the existence of hell in Vampire Diaries when Catherine got sucked off into the void.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So And that's, I mean, if you read any breakdown of that episode, whatever, the only thing they say is it's presumed she was sucked, dragged off to hell.
Right, and then we have when they had Cammy's uncle. I can't think of his name.
Kieran.
Karen.
Yeah,
When the whole church slaughtered themselves in front. I know that was a hex, but they were thinking that the church was like possessed or whatever back then. So, they were thinking demons then. What if it turns out it wasn't exactly a hex? What if it was that?
Some kind of, well, we know Davina gets access to necromancy now that she's the regent.
Yeah.
And she got that one-time burst of power, but there's 9 covens, and what I inferred, she got one use of the ancestors' unlimited power. What I'm getting at is there's 9 covens.
Is particularly.
Would you shut up? Let me finish.
No.
What I got from Vincent, that he implied, is that each coven specializes in a different field of magic.
Mm-hmm.
One of them specializes in necromancy.
Mm-hmm.
And Davina is going to fuck that up, is what I'm trying to get at.
Probably.
Yes, she only had one access to the unlimited power with a foolproof, surefire way to bring Cole back. Now she doesn't have that surefire way, so she's going to experiment with all kinds of stuff.
What if it's not demons, but a lich king?
I love liches.
A witch king.
Dargans!
Lich
King. Dargans.
So I think that about does it.
There's my Dargan. There's my
Can't wait for
Dargan.
next season. Cleo, where can the people find you and your
You
Dargan?
can find me at Cleomoto on the socials and on Twitch at the Cleomoto.
Excellent. Nikki, where can the people find you?
Well, one last thing. Even worse than liches, demons, dargans, or anything else that Davina could summon up. Ponies.
Rainbow ponies.
Rainbow
I'm so
freaking
done.
ponies. You can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24. LadyVenom24.
I am pushing.
Kitties.
Mike, where can the people find you?
Ian.
Right now, they can find me on Twitter at Thilladren. THILLADREN. About 37 seconds after this podcast ends, you could find me in the grave because I just told my wife to shut up and heat of the moment, and I'm going to...
Telling you what your heart says. I think that's the lyrics in it. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
Phenomenon.
Do, 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 do.
You can also
It's
find it
your
on
own
Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, Ace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts or some of your favorite TV shows.
So,
Till next year.
as soon as I finished what I was saying, my headphones came unplugged, so... I missed responses.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.